I'll execute the yesterday's code in this case where we had displayed all the student data in this, and from that I want to search a particular student record, because generally what happens is if you load all the student data, then there will be hundreds of students in the college. So in that case, hundreds of students data displayed on the screen, it will take more time to load the data in this case, and this becomes one of the biggest problem for view of the data in this. So for this purpose, we will search a particular record based on the name, and I want to fetch that particular data in this. It is almost similar to that of the yesterday's code that we have done in this. So let us run the yesterday's program. So go to C drive. Here we have create a folder. Inside this, you can just go here, type cmd in this python manage.py run server. I will execute the run server directly because I have not made any modifications in the models.py. So whenever you make a modification in the models.py, you have to execute the make migration and migrate in this. Since I have not made any changes in the make migration and models.py, I am directly running the run server in this case. Now after this, open the browser, open the URL in this, local host colon 8000 slash student register register. So we get a student registration form in this. The same way we had done the student display code in this. So localhost colon 8000 slash student details, and I also got the student details in this case. Now, today's class, we need to create a search operation in this case. And to perform the search operation, the first thing you have to do is go to your project folder in this case, that is your application folder. In application folder, go to templates. In templates, you create a one more file in this case. A one more new file is created, and I will save this as search student.html. I'll keep a search student.html, then HTML structure, and I'll give a title as search student. And of course, we need to copy the bootstrap link in this case. So let me copy the bootstrap link from some other files that is previously used. Copy this and paste it here. And after this, now here I want to perform a search operation, means I need to give the name of the student whose detail I want to view in this case. So for that, I need one text box and a button. So that we should put it inside the form tag. Name is equal to frm search. Method is equal to post, and auto complete set to off. Now inside this, I'll make use of input type is equal to text, where I need to take the name of the student in this case. I'll call it as student name, followed by autofocus, since it's the first tag in this case. And I'll say it is compulsory, so I'll give required property and use the class that is form hyphen control. And I need one submit button to search the record. So input type is equal to submit, name is equal to search, and give it as btn search. I'm performing a search operation in this. Then next value property, I'll call it as search, and next use a class, say btn values info. So I've got a form tag in this. Most important, after everything, put the csrf underscore token. csrf underscore token. So that we will put it in the last. So now this is for the time being a basic HTML page that we have created in this case, where I have given a search operation. Now after this, the immediate step that you have to do is you have to create a path for the HTML file. I told you in the yesterday's class, whenever you create a HTML page, the next thing is you have to go to urls.py, add one more path to it. A path is separated by comma. I'll give this as search student, the name of the HTML file, the same views.py and same for the name property. Now after this, I need to create a one more function in the views.py by the name search student in this. So open the views.py and here we create a function def search student request colon. For the time being, MSG I'll keep it empty. Return render open close request comma search student dot html. Okay, so I'm just calling the function. I want to see the HTML file how it looks in this. Later we'll make the changes in this case. Now after we have done with this, save the code, open the browser and type the URL, that is localhost colon 8000 slash search. So we got one text box, a very lengthy text box, and a search button in this case. So now what I will do is we can reduce the both the tags in one line in this case. So what we can do is design. We will make a small change. The change is both these the entire input tag, both the tags. I'll put it inside the division tag. I put that inside division tag, and we use a class here called as input group. So what happens if we give input group is both the tags will appear in a single line in this case, but still the text box size is very lengthy. So you want to reduce the size of the text box. Of course, there are many methods. One of the method is using the style property with width as some 50%. Width colon 50%. So 50% of the form, the tag size will be 50% in this. Sir, I want it in the center. Yes, you can put the whole input group in the center tag. So now it appears in the center. Sir, I want a label in the left side. Yes, you can add the label here. So I'll put it as H3, that is search student. Save and refresh, you'll get this. So inside the text box, you can write a placeholder where you mention that enter student name. So in this placeholder, enter student name. So I've given the student name in this case, so it will show me the content. So a very simple HTML page we have created in this. Now once you type any HTML name in this case, that name should be sent to the views.py where it should bring the data based on the name and then retrieve the data, send it to the HTML page. This is a process which we do in this case. Very simple, though the steps are lengthy. What we have to do is here, if request dot method double equal to post. Always remember, whenever we click the submit button, it will come inside the post function in this. Otherwise, it will skip that post and directly execute the else part in this case. So in the else part, that is directly it will go to the what you say, it will go to the return render function in this case. So a very simple method where I have to make sure that I want to take the inputs from the user in this and make the operation. So for that, what we have to do is student name is equal to request dot method request dot post square bracket open close. Inside this, give the name of that text box. Okay, so whatever the student name he has typed, I have retrieved that student name inside the variable called as student name. Now I need to fetch the data from that particular student name in this case. So for that purpose, what we do is very simple. We have stored the data inside the student data, and yesterday we had written student data objects dot all, means it will retrieve all the data. I don't want all the data in this case. I want to retrieve only a particular record from the user in this case. So for that purpose, what we do is we modify the code slightly. The slight modification is, we say after fetching the data, I will say student data is equal to, or student details equal to student data dot objects dot filter. Filter is a function which will take one parameter and it will check that particular condition. If the condition is true, if there is a data in that particular condition, it will return the value. Otherwise, it will return a false value in this case. So what we do is we make use of student data dot objects dot filter. Inside this, I will say now go to the student model, student data model in this case. So what I want is the name of the student, that is the column name you take from there, you put it here equal to whatever the value you have taken from the user or in the HTML tag in this case. So you can directly put it, instead of using a variable, is equal to request dot post of student name. Remember, this request dot post of student name is fetched from the text box in the HTML page, and I am comparing that value with whatever value is there inside the variable called as student name in the student data object. If the data is there, he will put that data inside the variable called as student details. Now, this student details, you pass it to the HTML parameter like we had done in the yesterday's class. You can see yesterday's class I told get student data. So now I am giving it as student details. You can give the same name. That will be easy for you to understand also this. And I will copy, put the variable here. So I have retrieved the data in the get student data. The data is copied and that data is passed in the HTML page in this case. So save this. Now, when I go to the front end, the data is not displayed because we need to write a code to display the data of the student, which we had already done in the yesterday's class. So let me just open that file, that is student details. We had written that code in the yesterday's class itself. Copy the same code in this, copy this and paste it in search student. Scroll down. After the form tag closes, you paste the data. So this is the same code that you had written in the yesterday's class in this case. Okay. So fetch the data, put it inside the get student data and the data gets displayed. Save this and run the page. Now it's accessing. Okay, get student data is not associated with the value. So what we have to do is we have to declare this variable outside. Now what happened here? In this case, that get student data was declared inside the if condition. So this variable became a local variable to that particular if condition. So I was not able to access it here outside the if condition. So for that purpose, compulsory declare the variable outside in this. Now save this and run the program again. So it is showing empty data. I want to fetch the details. I already have a student details in this case. So I'll put it as Vivek search. And you can see I got only Vivek data in this case. If I say Sachin, I got Sachin data in this case. Now let me add one more record in this case. I will add one more student, say Ajay Kumar, and his mobile number his email ID ajay@gmail.com. Course studying. Ajay B his password. Project title is ID card generator. Register. The data is registered. You can see that here Ajay Kumar is registered. Now let us search here. Ajay. Click on search. You did not get any data in this case. What is the problem? We have a student by name Ajay, but it is not being fetched. The reason is very simple in this case. It is because here you have given Ajay Kumar, but in the condition that you have written, you have given here as student name equal to the text box name, that is Ajay. So only Ajay is being searched and they did not find the name because we have Ajay Kumar in this case. Sir, what to do in such case? Because there are many cases where we don't remember the entire name that is given during the admission. So for that purpose, what Python language did was he told use a concept of underscore underscore I contains. Two underscore symbols followed by I contains, which will check whether Ajay is there in any of the names in this case, including in the Ajay Kumar. He will not search for exact Ajay Kumar in this. He will search if Ajay name exists in each of those data in this. If it is there, he'll bring the data and he'll display the data. That's it. A very small change. That is underscore underscore I contains. Save this. Now search for the name same. That is Ajay. Click on search. Now I got the Ajay's data on the screen. If I say only A, it will search for everybody's name who has A in this case. So I can say Sachin has A, Sachin second has A, and Ajay has A. If I just type I and click search, that is I. Say I can see Sachin is having I, Vivek is having I. Wherever the position is, makes no difference. If I just say KUM, Kumar, see for it, you're getting Ajay Kumar. So this is how the underscore underscore I contains will work in this case. Okay. Next, suppose if I want to search by name Z, search, I'm not getting any data. I want to display a message on the screen saying that record not found. Okay. How to do that? Very simple. There is one easy method in this case, that is this whole statement, put it inside a if condition. And what I have to do in the if condition? Same thing, retrieve this entire code. Dot, there is one built-in function called as exists. Exist function will check whether the data exists or not. If it is there, he will come inside this, he will retrieve the data. Suppose if the name does not exist, the if condition will return false. That means he will come to the else part. In the else part, you give message as record not found. So I'll give a message to the user saying record not found inside a variable MSG, which I have already declared on the top first. And this should be passed in the HTML page in this. So separated by comma, again double quotation MSG colon MSG. So MSG will be the value if there is any record which is not found in this. Same time, this MSG must be displayed in the student's search student in this case on the top. So this we had done when we were writing the register code. So in the center tag, I will use two flower brackets MSG. Save this, and now you run the program and refresh the page in this case. Now he is saying record not found. You can highlight that, increase the font size and all you can do by using H3 or maybe H4. You can go with H4 because don't give same heading for the page title and this. So I'll use H4. So in the H4 it will say record not found in this. A very easy method how we can perform the search operation in the HTML. Now you may say, sir, this should not be displayed because if the data is there, then it should display these headings. Otherwise, it should not even display the headings in this. That can also be done with one simple code, that is we are sending the data here, put the entire table tag inside if followed by the name of the variable which is fetching the data. Okay, save this. At the end of the table you should close the if condition, that is end if. Save and refresh. Now the text box is also gone. When the page is loaded for the first time, nothing is displayed. I search for a name. In that case, the table is displayed along with the header. If the name does not exist, it will display a message on the screen and the header is removed from the HTML page. Because what happened this time was the get data was empty because there was no data retrieved. So it was empty and hence this entire table was not displayed during the second time in this case. So this is how we can control those header files on the screen in this case. Okay. Any doubt you have, you can ask. So almost it is like the same yesterday's code with slight few conditions that we are making in this case. Okay, you can write down the code for this. First, you start with the search student dot html. Write down the code at least once. I'm telling you, because at least one time you should be able to write and understand what you have written in the code. So don't show laziness here. Yes, you can start writing the code. Just a minute. Yes. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಡಿ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕೊಡು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So I hope you have finished till line number 38. Right on till line number 51. After that, there is a close of body tag and the HTML tag. I hope you have finished writing this. Now, write down next heading as views.py, and in views.py, write down this search definition. Okay. Now, here there is a condition check that we have to note down, and this is a condition. Write down from line number 4 till line number 17 or line number 16. Line number 4 to line number 16. Write down till line number 16. I hope you're finished writing this. The next is open the urls.py. In urls.py, you have to add one more line. That is line number 23. Right on line number 23. So I hope you have finished writing the code for urls.py. So as I told you, three things in this. One is whenever you create a new HTML file, you have to make changes in the views.py and you have to make changes in the urls.py because we are not storing any data in this. Okay. If we are storing any data, then we make changes in the models.py. That will be doing it in the next in the later classes if required in this case. So that is how we perform the search operation in the application in this case. We will stop at this point in the today's class because again delete is a 15-20 minutes code in this case. I don't want to hurry up the things. So what we'll do is we'll start with the delete code operation on the Monday's class in this. Most important, practice these codes. Remember, these are the same code that I'll be using in your project. Suppose if they tell you to make changes in the project during execution, in the examination, if you know all these things, only then you can make the changes in the coding in this case. Okay, because I've still got very few people who have done the search operation, the display operation. So try to cover the search as well as the display operation and send the screenshots in the group. Okay, any doubts you have, you can ask. Okay, so let's end up the class. We'll meet tomorrow. We'll meet on Monday at same 10 o'clock. Thank you.